Hey, what's up, folks? Welcome back for MLB season preview 2018. It's going to be a good year for Major League Baseball. It's been around a long time. After watching lots of spring training, seeing some teams make some moves, some players take massive pay cuts, at the end of the day, it's a game. Sometimes you always forget about that. It's a game. It's a game I love. And it's a game I play for free. They have to get paid a few bucks to play a game that you love. But it's a game. And that's one thing every baseball player, no matter how old you are, how young you are, playing this game. Or watching, no matter how old you are, you're watching the game, you still watch it, feel like you're still in the game. It's a game. It's a kid's game, but we still love to play it, we still love to watch it. And that's the thing I like about opening day. For the first time ever, I don't think they've ever done this in the last 30 years. Every single team is going to play on opening day. And I feel this is a good move for Major League Baseball. And sometimes you have to make moves that don't make any sense. I think this is a positive move. I think out of all 30 teams, you have your favorites. Of course, the Yankees, the Astros, the Nationals, the Mets, the Giants, the Dodgers, of course. But, these teams are going to have injuries throughout the season. I just got recent news the last couple of days I've been hearing out of San Francisco. Madison Bumgarner is going to be out till the All-Star break, so that's at least 2 months. So, after he got a line driver that hit him off his thumb. Pretty major injury to his thumb, and he's going to get pins and surgery to it. Major injury. You talk about injuries over the last few years. Madison Bumgarner has been hurt over the last 2 years. This is the guy who's won 3 World Series, pitched an amazing playoffs back in 2013. He literally won them the World Series. Pitched out of his mind. I don't think they won the World Series that year, but he just pitched out of his mind. I think the Red Sox won it that year, but the thing is, Madison Bumgarner is one of the greatest pitchers to ever pitch in Major League Baseball. Don't get me wrong. And, to see, what the Giants got to do now in terms of scrambling to get some immediate help in terms of pitching, there's lots of big names up there. There's Bartolo Colon, it looks like he's in with the Rangers. You have, former Cy Young winner, the young Scott Kazmir. Now he's about 34 now, but he can still play at a high level. And the thing is, when it comes down to it, it's all about character, and sometimes it's just character. It's all about bringing the right piece at the right time. Scott Kazmir's still a good pitcher. I'm surprised the Braves would let him go. They would release him and buy him out of his final year at $16 million. They got to pay him that this year. If the Giants could bring him in, he could be a real help for the Giants, because they're trying to make the playoffs. They haven't been to the playoffs in a few years, at least 3 years, 4 years. It's been a while. I think it was 2014 last time they were in the playoffs. So it's about 4 years since they've been in the playoffs. They've had some tough years the last few years, the Giants. The last time they came close was the wild card game, and they lost. They had their ace pitching, Madison Bumgarner, and they've had Jake Peavy over the years, and he hasn't really worked out. I believe he's still a free agent, and I think he's still throwing. So, there's talk he might get signed. In recent news, I got Jason Worth recently signed with the Mariners. Ichiro signed with them. So Mariners are going to have some good pieces on their team. They lost their young first baseman for pretty much half the season. I think he's out for like 7 weeks. So it's the same thing for Greg Bird in New York for the Yankees. I believe Adam Lynn might come back for the Yankees. He might sign a minor league contract, so they'll have a first baseman to play first base. I don't see Gary Sanchez playing too much first base, even though they want to give him a break behind the plate. Maybe Stanton might play a little first. He can play multiple positions. He can play all 3 outfield positions. So don't be surprised. They might throw him at first for a little bit, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Yankees signed Adam Lynn to a new minor league contract. They did release him, but I won't be surprised if they call him back and get him to come play for them again. It's a positive move. don't get me wrong. This is a good move for the Yankees. Bring back Adam Lind. You have a good first baseman. You have someone that can hit the way Adam Lind can hit. He showed it with the Nationals last year. His first time ever making the playoffs. He came up with some big hits in the playoffs during the regular season as a pitch hitter, as a utility guy coming off the bench, playing a couple games here and there. Now, Adam Lind can really still play in this game. I remember when he was with the Blue Jays when he was coming up. He was one of the game's up-and-coming young stars. And, he made the All-Star game. And, across Major League Baseball, there was talk that this is going to be one of the next great superstars in the game. But, with Adam Lind, it never really worked out. But sometimes that's what happens. Sometimes it's injury. Sometimes it's opportunity. Sometimes the team's really bad. You just can't get over the hump or the hurdle. We've seen it over the years where teams, they always try to find a weakness on a team or on a player. By the end of the day, it's not so much the player, that it's the team. And that's confidence. And I think for Adam, I think he's found his confidence. He still loves the game of baseball. When he gets out there, you see that smile after he gets a hit, even if he gets a strikeout or he gets, tagged up on a double play. You always see that smile. Whenever I watch Adam play, you see that smile. That former Blue Jay, when he came up into the big leagues, I can remember back in 2005, 2006, 2007, and 2004, he was coming up in the big leagues. Like Travis Snyder's another one. When you had the late, great Roy Halladay, pitching on the Blue Jays, and Adam was one of the young guys on that team, and he really gave the Blue Jays a chance. And you can still see he still has the ability to hit in Major League Baseball. He might not be the greatest hitter in the history of the game, but he still can hit. He can still play good defense in the outfield and in the infield. He's a versatile player, and I think the Yankees can bring him back. This would be a good move. You look at what the Red Sox have done, bringing J.D. Martinez. J.D. looks good. I think he's going to really help them out. Mookie Betts, he looks like he's a little hurt. Guys like Xander Bogaerts need to step it up this year. But it's going to be a lot of pressure on J.D. Martinez. They paid him a lot of money as a big free agent. Dave Dombrowski's putting his name, he's putting his job on the line, I think, this year. I mean, the Red Sox got to do something. I mean, the Yankees get all the headlines, get Mike Stanton, bring in some other big names. But there's a lot of pressure on the Red Sox this year. I mean, they have a new manager in Alex Cora taking over for John Farrell, who got fired. Now working for ESPN as an analyst. So I wouldn't be surprised with the Blue Jays if they get off to a slow start. I wouldn't be shocked out of my mind to see the Blue Jays bring in John Farrell as their manager once again. So, that's the thing about the Toronto Blue Jays, the thing about the Baltimore Orioles. And the Baltimore Orioles brought in a big name pitcher due to injuries and they want to be good this year, and Alex Cobb. I think Alex Cobb's going to really help with the Baltimore Orioles. They gave him 4 years. Was it close to $80 million? I think this is going to be a positive move. I think it's or $90 million. It's one of the two. Alex Cobb in his time when he pitched for the Tampa Bay Rays, he was awesome. Before he had the injury, he was awesome. Even when he came back from his major injury in Tommy John surgery, and I think he had knee problems and shoulder problems. But the thing about Alex Cobb, he has such an unorthodox pitching stance. I mean, it almost looks like ostrich when he's coming up and he's throwing over. It's amazing. And the thing about Alex is he's a character. He's a competitive player, a competitive person, and that's the type of pitcher they need for the Orioles. They did get some of that from Ubaldo Jimenez when he was still pitching for the Orioles, but he just didn't bring it every single game. That competitive drive, and that's one thing Buck Showalter is looking for from this young pitcher is the fire, the energy. We need to see that, and that's going to be the key down the stretch here. The Cardinals, they look pretty good this year. They have a good team. There's rumors that Greg Holland is going to be their next closer. From what I'm hearing, we'll see what happens. We'll see how they start. If they lose their first 3-4 games, they probably will sign Greg Holland. It's still negotiations. The Braves are in on him. I'm hearing there's a pile of teams. The Yankees, in a panic signing, they might bring in Greg Holland, even though they have Chapman, they have Betances, they have some great arms. The Red Sox, they could panic and go acquire him. The Cubs, I don't think they believe in their closer. They have a young closer. But, plus they have you, Darvish. They spent a pile of money on you. There's a lot of pressure on you, Darvish, this year. There's a lot of pressure on Kyle Schwarber. He's going to get to play a lot this year for the Cubs. There's a lot of pressure on these guys. Chris Bryant needs to turn it around, man. He had a bad year last year. Put up a couple good numbers. Addison Wassell's another one for the Cubs. You got to step it up. Ben Zobrist, he step it up, man. These guys got to bring it. Now they have no chance. Because I think the Pittsburgh Pirates, they did really good in the offseason acquiring Wilkerson from the Tampa Bay Rays as they began their selling. I believe Wilkerson's going to really hit pretty good. He'll hit for power. He'll hit for average. And he's going to give the Pirates fans hope, even though they trade off the face of the franchise in Andrew McCutcheon. But remember, sometimes in this game, change of scenery sometimes helps you out. He didn't get 28 home runs last year for the Tampa Rays for nothing, even though he's playing in a small ballpark in Tropicana Field. Playing in Pittsburgh is not bad. PNC Park is a big ballpark, but it's pretty small. And he's a left-handed power hitter. And I think it kind of favors a left-handed power hitter. You think of the great left-handed power hitters in the history of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Barry Bonds, Bobby Bonilla. The list keeps going on. Nate McLouth. Remember that guy? He was a pretty good hitter. They've had some good hitters over there. Jason Bay, Freddie Sanchez. They've had countless others. McCutcheon, Marte. It goes on and on. The Pittsburgh Pirates are due for a retool. They got rid of Garrett Cole. They got rid of Andrew McCutcheon, the faces of the franchise. Now, whatever they have left, they got to show their fans of Pittsburgh that they still have fight in them. And their cross-city rivals in Philadelphia, the Philadelphia Phillies went and spent some big money this offseason, bringing Jake Arrieta for $75 million for, was it 5 years or 3 years? And then they brought in Carlos Santana, the former Cleveland Indian. They brought him in for some big money. I think it was $90 million over 4 or 5 years. So we'll have to see what these guys bring. They are going for it. They're going to challenge in their division. I believe the Phillies have signed a rookie recently, their young second baseman, to a 6-year contract. So, they're spending the money. Even the Arizona Diamondbacks recently signed their young, I think it was an infielder, to a 5-year deal. They sent down their big bat, Tomas from Cuba. He starts season in the minor leagues. We'll see what happens. It's going to take some time. The Toronto Blue Jays, they're what do we call it? They're in progress. Josh Donaldson, he has some injuries. Tulowitzki starting the year on the DL. It's going to be a tough year for the Blue Jays. But I believe in their pitching. They have pitching. One thing the Yankees don't got, they don't got the pitching. They got to put so much pressure on Tanaka and especially CC Sabathia. If CC Sabathia and Tanaka can't get it done, Yankees ain't going to win nothing this year. They might finish dead last in their division. It's all about pitching. And I think the Blue Jays have some of the best pitching in the American League, along with the Minnesota Twins. And I believe in the Los Angeles Angels. Maybe there is an angel in the outfield. Maybe that's Obtani. Maybe it's Albert Bell. No, actually Albert Bell. I'm talking. Albert Bell got some trouble recently. Sorry to say. But maybe it's Albert Pujols. I think this guy looks like he's back. Mike Trout, he's back. With Obtani there now, Justin Upton, I believe there's an angel in the outfield. And I believe the Angels will win the AL West in 2018. I believe the Houston Astros will get off to a slow start, and they'll start losing and losing and losing and losing, even though they've re-signed some of their young stars, like the MVP, Altuve. I believe they'll struggle. I believe Verlander will struggle. I believe a few of the other pitchers that they brought in and some of their aces will struggle this year. And I have a feeling the Mariners will turn around this year. I think Jason Worth will be a good fit. I think Ichiro will return to his old ways of making things happen, using his speed, his hitting. I think guys like Robinson Cano will find their swing again. I think some of their pitching will start to click, start to strike out players again. They'll start to be the Seattle Mariners we remember back in 2001. So anything's possible. Thanks for watching, folks, for MLB season preview. I'll probably do another one as the season progresses. MLB trade rumors is coming back in the future, folks. But for now, it'll be MLB Today, where I can do a show every 3 days. I can do a couple shows here and there to give you more knowledge on Major League Baseball. Thanks for watching, folks. The one and only Mark Anthony Spencer is back, and I'm loving baseball. Just like March Madness. How about Loyola Chicago? They're amazing, eh? I can't believe it. Take care, folks. Y'all have a good Tuesday.